Welcome, everybody. Abby Wambach here. You're listening to Fearless Conversation, and I have something very important to share with you today. During my career as a pro athlete, I had certain ways to make money. I had the USWNT national team salary, I had my personal endorsements, club soccer, clinics in my own personal camps. And I always was kind of plagued with the decision of whether I should go play overseas or not. And we may or may not have some breaking news, but we have a guest that's going to be on our show today. One of my former teammates, Alex Morgan. She's 27. She's played on the national team since 2010. 120 appearances, 73 goals, Olympic gold medal, World Cup champion. She's played for multiple club teams here. She's been the U.S. Soccer Female Athlete of the Year, FIFA World Player of the Year finalist. I mean, her resume literally goes on and on. Her Wikipedia page is outrageous. So hopefully all this information is correct as I'm now relaying it to you. But really today, Alex has some news that she wants to break with everybody. And I wanted to give her an opportunity to tell us why she's made this decision. Because I think there's a real question as women's pro soccer grows and women's pro sports grows, let's be honest, worldwide. Players and athletes are they're gonna be confronted with hard decisions, hard business decisions. Gone are the days where it's like, oh, I'm just happy to be a pro athlete. You're actually making real business decisions that is going to affect you. It's going to affect your family, and then it's going to affect your club team. It's going to affect your national team. It's going to affect the millions of fans that you have in your country. Because you know what? Let's be honest. Alex is a face. She's the face of the women's national team. And so she feels a heavy bit of responsibility to keep growing the game here in this country. But as a player, somebody who played for many, many years and was given opportunities to go play overseas, I find it really fascinating to think about what would have happened if I actually did go play overseas. And so Alex has a pretty cool thing to tell us today, and I want to get a little more in depth and ask her the whys, the hard questions that maybe she won't get an opportunity to answer if otherwise wasn't given this forum. So I'm lucky. I feel like I've got friends in high places or something. I don't know. I feel like maybe she owes it to me a little bit because she was a little kid when she first came on the team. But for now, she's one of the faces of the women's national team, and I just can't wait to hear about what news she's got to tell us and the reasons why in which she got to the decision she did. So it's going to be an exciting conversation, you guys. Stick around. All right, here we go, you guys. One of my favorite people, literally on the planet, Alex Morgan. How in the hell are you doing, sister? What's going on?
I'm good. Thank you for that introduction. Do you say that to everyone? I hope not.
I do not. I do not. You are one of my favorite people on the planet, so that is not a lie, and I don't say that to everyone, literally.
Just check in,
Yeah. Well, I know you just got back from Europe, and you had a little bit of a belated honeymoon, I guess. What did you do there? What are you up to over there?
Well, me and Savannah went to Paris and Amsterdam, and I also traveled through the north of Spain, went wine tasting quite a bit, and Madrid, and the start of my trip actually started a little earlier because I went to see this beautiful city of Lyon.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that might be a really good segue because I think you have some breaking news for us. Do tell us what you were up to in Lyon, France.
Yeah, so over the last couple of months, I've kind of been looking at my options abroad in playing in a different league, and I decided to take the trip to Lyon and check it out and see if that's something that I would fit into. And it actually surprised me at how great the training facilities were, the stadium was, the players, the club itself, how invested they are in women's football. And I just decided to sign with them onto their second part of their season, which will go January through the end of May.
Through the end of May. Wow. Okay.
I should say actually June 1st, because Champions League final is June 1st, and we want to make sure we're there.
Of course. I mean, I think that's a huge reason why you'd want to go play in Europe to begin with. But let's go back to a little bit like how you process through this decision, because I know for me, and when I played, not to make this about me because it's about you, but I know that was something that I really struggled with, deciding between my individual progress as an individual player and also wanting to collectively make sure that the game here in our country in the U.S. was growing, and it really never posed itself as a good opportunity for me to go and play overseas because of the women's national team schedule and whatnot. So what led to this decision for you individually, and then how do you think it's going to help you individually so that when you do come back to play in the States or with the national team, how that's going to impact you on a collective, on a team level?
Yeah, you basically said it all, how it's, the timing has to be perfect, and sometimes the opportunity doesn't come about. And it's very difficult, obviously, with the national team and us treating our national team almost like a club team, because we do play, we have played so much outside of FIFA dates and had training camps where the national team has pulled us away from our club teams and staying in the domestic league, that would be a lot easier. But I feel like for me being 27 and in my prime, I just feel like this is the right time. We put in our past 2015 World Cup and 2016 Olympics, and I feel like for me, I've played 6 seasons here in the U.S., helping grow the game, helping build a domestic league, multiple domestic leagues through the WPS, through the W League when there was no professional league, and now through the NWSL. And I think after 4 years in the NWSL, I think there's just something in my gut telling me that for me individually to continue developing as a player and elevating my game, there's just something that I needed to do. And that's when I decided to visit Lyon, and I saw it as a great fit. That doesn't mean I'm not coming back to the NWSL. I will be playing in the NWSL after I finish up the second part of the season with Lyon, but it's a way, I think, for me to just continue developing. And I think in a way it's going to benefit us. It's going to benefit me in terms of coming back to the NWSL feeling sharp, but also with the national team and the NWSL, I feel like I can be able to contribute to my team in a way that I felt like I wasn't able to fully in 2016, not having the Olympics that we might have hoped for, and in the NWSL, not having the season that I would have anticipated with Orlando. So a lot of things came together to make this decision, and I think it weighed heavy over me for quite a while, but I'm really happy moving forward now in the decision that I made. And I think that I've seen just so much support from Orlando, from Tom Sermani, from the national team with Jill, and from my family, especially Servando, staying here in Orlando. I knew that this was the right decision for me for these next 5-6 months.
Well, I mean, I think you bring up really good conversating points in that not many people know about kind of the structure in which women's professional athletes, and obviously more specifically women's soccer players, how you guys lucratively make your money. And back when I was playing, it didn't make financial sense for me to go play overseas. And now, because the game is growing, not just in our country, but growing globally, was this kind of a money decision? Are you going over there, and are you going to be making the big bucks? Is that why you're choosing to do this?
Well, that was definitely not on my radar when I decided to start looking at playing abroad. But the terms of my contract are confidential. But obviously, it's clear by looking at the Lyon roster that they continue to invest in women's football, and it's not just Lyon. It's other clubs in Europe. It's, in England with Man City, with Chelsea. You have even Barcelona, who's who has publicly said that they want to commit more to the women's game. They want to invest more in women's football. You have some German clubs who have historically done so. So you're definitely seeing a shift in those European clubs investing more in women's football. And I think it's a great time now, especially leading into the World Cup in 2019, which will be held in France.
That's actually a really important point, because I think not just the World Cup being in France in 2019, but I think that when I think about this in terms of my career, because I always try to bring it back to myself and what I would do, or you're in such a different place. The game is in such a different place than it was 10 years ago. And for me, I think it's actually really interesting to think about what I would do differently if I were playing now at 27 years old. And I think that might be one of the things that I think regret's the wrong word, but I wish I had done for at least a season, just to get the experience. You know, the training environment's going to be different. The mentality that they go to the training pitch and play every single day is going to be different. And the only thing that can do is actually grow you as a player. So for me, my question is, what do you hope to get, individually speaking, from your progress, from your development? What do you hope to gain by playing in Lyon?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a challenge, and it's going to be a great experience. Going to be a great life experience. But for me, I want to continue developing my game. And that's not to say that I cannot do that in the NWSL, because I definitely can. But this is a new style of play that I'm going to have to learn in France. These are players that I've only played against on the international level, that I'm going to be fighting for a starting spot with and playing alongside with. It's a training environment. Every single player on Lyon is a national team member of their respective countries. So that alone just speaks volumes to the quality of Lyon, and the fact that they are defending champions of the French League, the French Cup, and Champions League all last year. That's something that I want to be a part of this year. And joining on in this second part of the season, I have the opportunity to do that. And Champions League, like we talked about in the very beginning of this conversation and the beginning of this podcast, Champions League is one of the biggest reasons that I do want to play in Europe, because we don't have any opportunity like that in the NWSL or in a domestic league here in the U.S. So hopefully we will have something like a Club World Cup or something where we could compete with other leagues around the world. But for right now, Champions League is the best thing in terms of playing quality teams outside of your league. And for me, growing up watching the Men's Champions League, I think it's an amazing opportunity to be able to play in the Women's Champions League now.
Well, that's amazing. And that's definitely one of the things that I would say, if I were to go back and do it again, I would love to play in the Champions League. You know, the game is growing so big globally, but in the United States, we're able to watch these Men's Champions League games happen. And the idea of having like a Club World Cup would be really amazing. And I think that you going over there will give people, not only back here in the United States, a little bit more of understanding about where the game is growing globally. But I think that maybe one of these days we can get the Champions League, the Women's Champions League games more televised. I know a few of them towards the end of the actual tournament itself get televised. But for me, I want you to tell me, I know this was a hard decision because I grappled with it a bunch of times. But I think for you, you're going to have people hating on you a little bit. You're going to have people trolling you and telling you their dislike with this decision that you're making. What would you say to those people out there who disagree with you going to Lyon and playing in the French League?
Well, I don't think, at least fans in the U.S., I don't think can fault me for the fact that I want to continue elevating my game. You know, for me, the goal is to prove that I'm the best forward in the world, that I'm the best player. And I still feel like there's more growth to be had for me. And I feel like it wasn't a great 2016 for me. So moving forward, you know, I feel like I really want fans to be understanding. And that's why I feel like I'm trying to be as open as possible with this decision and showing showing fans and people all around the U.S. that this wasn't a decision that I spontaneously made. This is a decision that was very weighed and something that I thought about for a long time. I mean, it's something that was a very difficult decision to be made because at the end of the day, I'm in the ideal. I have the ideal position right now in Orlando. You know, I just came to Orlando to an amazing club, and my husband is here with me. And for the first time, we're living in the same city, representing the same club. So it's, you know, if you think about it that way, it's not an easy decision to make. But at the end of the day, this is because of soccer. I don't know, you know, when me and Servando want to start a family, but I know that I won't have the opportunities to play in Europe when that time comes about. So right now it's important for me, like you said earlier, to not regret just staying in the U.S., to not have these decisions lingering over my head in 3 or 4 or 5 years from now. So I know that at the end of the day, there's going to be people who still don't really understand the decision that I've made, or maybe don't see eye to eye with it, or think that I should be growing the game in the U.S. But I feel like, if anything, I'm still continuing to grow the game in the U.S. by coming back here directly after my season with Lyon. And if anything, I feel like I'm trying to help grow the game grow the women's game globally with putting Lyon on the map and being active on my social networks and trying to let people know about the professionalism in Lyon and the amazing opportunities that I'm going to have playing in Champions League.
Totally. And it also speaks volumes to maybe not being as I don't even know what the word is, just the whole result from Rio, knowing that you personally want to grow, want to keep growing. And I think that it just shows kind of how brave you are to make this decision, because the reality is you going to play over in Lyon, playing in a different environment, maybe learning what some of these other players, not just from France, but they've got a lot of different international players from around the world, seeing how they train, trying to pick up different things that's going to make you better, so that when you come back, not just to the U.S. in the club season or the club games, but taking what you learned there and bringing it back to the women's national team. Because let's be honest, you know, the result that you guys had in Rio was not what anybody wanted, right? And obviously nobody was more disappointed than you were. And I think looking ahead to 2019 in France, this could be one of the things that helps the women's national team actually succeed at winning and bringing home their defending the World Championship, the World Cup that we won in 2015. So I respect it big time. And there's no question in my mind that you're going to learn, you're going to grow, because sometimes you can get you can get staled. You can stall a little bit in your development by playing in the same system and having the same coaches around you. This just could be something that could inspire you and make you learn different things. What personally do you want to achieve goal-wise in 2017? Do you guys have a big schedule planned with the women's national team?
Jill has committed to playing within those FIFA dates moving forward. So I think the first thing for us would be She Believes Cup. And that's obviously an important tournament, because if I am saying this correctly, I believe that France and England and Germany have signed on for multiple years in the She Believes Cup. I think, don't hold me to that, but that's what I believe was the case last year when we started the tournament. So that's the biggest thing, but it's really just an adjustment period, and it's having a lot of newer players showcasing their talent, whether that's college players or NWSL players, whatever it may be. And I want to make sure that I'm continuing to evolve as well. I want to, going to Lyon is going to take me out of my comfort zone, and it's not going to be like I'm going to go in there and assume that I'm going to gain a starting position. I feel like I need to earn that. They have players who have been there for a season or 2 or 3 and have proven that they deserve to be in that starting lineup. So for me, coming in half season late is not an easy challenge, and I'm excited for that challenge. And so for me, looking with the national team, I think that I'll definitely be able to bring some things from Lyon to the national team. And although 2017 is a little bit of a rebuilding year with the national team, every time we're coming into camp and playing friendlies or She Believes Cup or whatever it might be, I want to make sure that I'm prepared, 100% fully prepared. And I think there's no better way to do that in the next couple months than to be training in the most competitive environment that I know in the world, and that's in Lyon.
Well, I mean, I know this couldn't have been an easy decision for you, but I also know that your sponsors and the partners that you've worked with for many years, are they excited about this? Are you losing deals? Are you gaining deals? I mean, because I know that you're probably going to be extra busy. Are you going to be traveling back to the United States to fulfill some of your obligations back here? Or are you going to be planted in Lyon for the time that you're playing there?
I definitely want to commit myself to Lyon for this second part of the season that I've signed on for. So for me, I have spoken with a lot of my sponsors and partners, and they're very supportive and open to working with me to ensure I fulfill obligations and continue to work together. But I guess that's going to have to be, a month by month type deal. I'm going to be back in the U.S. obviously for national team duty when there are FIFA dates. So it's going to have to be a little bit of timing thing to work around national team camps when I am in the U.S. But I do want to commit myself to playing in Lyon and not pulling myself out of that environment unless it's completely necessary.
All right. So when you told Jill what you were planning on doing, what was her reaction? How did she respond?
Jill was very supportive. She thought that this was a great way for me to continue developing as a player, like I've spoken about, and like I've spoken about how that's the number one thing, that the number one reason I do want to go to Lyon. And so I did speak with her during the whole process of me thinking about it before I even went to Lyon. And then I spoke with her on the phone recently about the decision that I made. And she's fully understanding of everything. Obviously, we're going to need to work together with FIFA dates because the national team she has told me that the national team wants to come in a couple of days before FIFA dates when there is no league. And so that'll be in the first couple of months of 2017. So obviously we'll have to work together through that. But it was a very positive conversation, or a couple of conversations that I had with her. And I think for us moving forward, obviously playing in Lyon this spring and looking to the future past the 2017 NWSL season, I don't know if it's something I want to do to go back to Lyon and play another full season with them or not. So I've gone through those scenarios with Jill as well, and she's completely supportive of whatever decision I do make. And I think that helped me feel really comfortable, or not comfortable, but feel confident in my decision, because I had people like Jill and people like Tom and my family in Toronto be so supportive and completely understanding of this decision that I was making. And so in a way that kind of helped take a little tension off of the decision-making process.
Yeah, I mean, you're juggling so much, right? We talk about the NWSL team and Orlando Pride. Obviously, your relationship with Jill and women's national team is of your probably utmost concern in terms of playing. And on the side note, just like a little thing that's going on with you guys is just the ongoing CBA negotiations that you have with U.S. Soccer. What, if anything, will affect? Are you going to be less involved? Are you going to be equally as involved in this? Because I know this is a massive fight, and I don't even want to say fight, just a massive negotiation that I know you guys put a lot of time, effort, and money, by the way. Lawyers cost a lot of money to get these things accomplished. So what's your thought on the CBA negotiations going forward?
Well, it's full go right now. Obviously, our current CBA ends in 2 weeks. So for me, that was also a concern of mine when I was looking to sign in Europe, because obviously I want to be a part of those negotiations. And well, not a part of the negotiations, but a part of the team and the group and making the tough decisions. but also I felt like there was a little bit of uncertainty whether there would be some sort of strike or a lockout by U.S. Soccer. You know, we obviously can't foresee the future in what we're going to do and how each party is going to use leverage. So for me, I wanted to make sure I was training in a competitive environment every day, and so that was part of my decision in deciding to play starting in January with Lyon. But I'll still be very much a part of the CBA talks with the team, and we're currently talking on a week-to-week basis. I mean, you know how it goes, and you've been a part of a lot of negotiations. So it's time consuming for sure. But I want the best deal for this team, and I think at the end of the day, both parties are working together to agree upon a deal that works for both of us. So I think that it's a good sign, and I'm happy with where it's going right now. But I don't know how much time it'll continue to take until that agreement is finally reached.
Man, well, it just sounds like you have thought this completely through. And I know it's so hard to make. You don't know how things are going to turn out, and nobody can read the future. But I know that making decisions like this isn't easy, and it's not something that was flippant, and you've thought all the way through it from every perspective and every angle. I just want to get a little specific in terms of your individual goals, because maybe more than anybody that I've played with, I know that you are very driven. And for me, with you, the sky's always been the limit. I've always wanted you to score as many goals as you possibly could and put yourself in the best environment. And I think you're doing that for yourself, and I commend you. I respect you so much for making hard decisions, because, you know, not everybody's going to be really happy about this, right? But you have to do what's best for you first and foremost, and you have to do what's going to benefit your career as much as you possibly think it can get benefited. So I want to know specifically for the women's national team what you want to get out of yourself individually for your 2017 goals, or if you don't feel as comfortable doing it individually, you can go more team goal wise. Like, what's your outlook for 2017, looking forward and looking ahead to the 2019 World Cup?
Well, individually speaking, you know, I don't have like a set number of goals I want to score or assist, but I do have goals in general in terms of wanting to contribute in a bigger way and not being limiting in the position that I could play. So I want to expand the position that I could play based on the personnel that Jill wants to put on the team, or based on the style of play or formation against a certain opponent. So for me, I want to but I want to expand my grasp of playing maybe a winger, or, you know, I've played in the number 9 position quite frequently, but I want to be able to play in different positions so I can maximize my time on the field. And so for me, it's doing that. And I think Lyon could be a great stepping stone for that, because they already have a lot of depth, especially in the forward line. So for me, if I'm going to earn a starting spot, it's going to be, you know, where am I going to be plugged in? And it's not necessarily going to be in the position that I've practiced for the last couple of years at the national team and in the NWSL. So that's something that I'm definitely looking at. And I obviously want to maximize my time with the national team. I want to become even more of a leader on the team, but not only in the vocal way, but in the way that I set a good example with my hard work and my play on the field. And obviously, with that, I hope that the goals will come. I hope that the assists will come. I feel like for me, I had a good amount of goals this year, but my assists weren't maybe there as much as when me and you played together. So I want to get those. I want to get those back up a little bit, definitely. So those are kind of in a broader sense of my goals individually.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that is all the soccer talk I have for you today. I want to know what your holiday traditions are, what you and Servando are doing for Christmas. I just need to know before we get off.
We're actually flying to LA or San Diego, and we're going to go visit family. We did get a tree in Orlando. However, going on vacation for 2 weeks, I asked Ash to come over and water my tree, and I think she forgot. So I think it's dead. So that's great. We have a dead tree in the house. But yeah, we'll just be with family, pretty much going all the way from Tijuana up to LA. You know, the whole thing, trying to get the 6 Christmases in 3 days. It'll be really fun.
Ooh, well, didn't Ash go to like a foreign country for a few days? She was busy, I think. Maybe she forgot to tell you. But seriously, thank you so much for coming on and giving us the scoop, the breaking news. Alex, you're going to Lyon. I'm proud of you. I know how hard this decision had to be for you and for Servando, but I commend you because it's not always easy when you have so much responsibility of growing the game, not just here, but collectively and worldwide, to do the thing that's going to be best for you. And I think indirectly it's going to be what's best for soccer globally. So I'm proud of you, and I look forward to seeing you in that Champions League final, buddy. I really do. Congrats.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to that too. Obviously, we have to start with quarters, but the goal is June 1st. So thanks, Ash, for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I miss catching up with you every day in the breakfast room, but we should catch up more often. I miss you a lot.
All right. I miss you too. I love you. Tell Servando I said hello, and say hello to your family when you get to San Diego and LA.
All right, will do.
All right. Love you, sister. Take care.
Love you too. Bye.
Well, there you have it, people. Alex Morgan is going to play in Lyon, France. And we've heard from her how hard it is to make those decisions and how many responsibilities she feels she has to juggle in order for her to do the best thing, the right thing. And sometimes doing the right thing by other people's opinions and standards is not going to be what's going to be best for her and her family. I think that we talked about a lot of really good stuff. I just know that these decisions don't come lightly for her. I know that for myself, in my experience, I never had the good enough opportunity to go play overseas. And to be honest, it just wasn't something that interested me that much at the time. Back when I was 27, the financial responsibility and the income that I was getting was primarily solely from playing on the women's national team. And we had leagues that started and failed and whatnot. And so I felt like in order to stay on the national team and to stay prevalent on the national team and to be successful, I had to be here. At the time, it didn't make sense for me to travel all the way overseas and then travel back here for national team games. And I felt like I'd miss a lot of training camps. And so I just never wanted to fall behind. But I think we're in a day and age where the women's national team is playing more on FIFA dates throughout the year and dedicating more time to having their players playing the club teams and enjoying their time of the club season. I think you'll find more players that are wanting to go experience European leagues, and that just can't. There's nothing but good things that can happen from that, because Alex is not sitting here saying she's going to play in Europe because she thinks it's better, or she doesn't think the NWSL. She's actually saying the opposite. She wants to go take what she's learned here, the experience that she has, and to go maybe input that into the French league, into the Champions League, and learn things over there, so that when she comes and plays back in the United States for Orlando or for the women's national team, she's going to be better. And people, I think that we learned a lot from Rio, from the performance in the Olympics, that we have to be better collectively. And every professional athlete knows that the best way to impact the team is to make sure that you're taking care of yourself individually. It's a balance. You're always on this seesaw of what am I doing for myself that's going to be best for the team. And that's what Alex is saying here. She's telling us that going over to Lyon is going to be good for her, and we have to trust her. We have to trust that she knows what's going to be best for her development, for her progress, because Listen, she's 27, you guys. I know that she seems like this old veteran on the team because she's been on the team for over 6 years now. But the truth is, Alex is still really young. And if she can stay healthy, she can, in my mind, I believe that she can break records. I think that she can win Players of the Year, most importantly, defend our World Cup in 2019, bring back gold medals to the United States. And you have to think outside the box. If something doesn't work like it didn't in Rio, you have to do something different. You have to train differently in order to progress, in order to get better. And that's what she's doing. Not to mention, I think that financially speaking, we have to be honest and aware that the game is changing. She's now able to maybe impact globally the things that she's been able to do here nationally. She might be able to go and impact her world globally and impact women's soccer globally. I mean, nobody sets out to change the game individually. But if you have an ability like Alex does to be able to socially reach out across the aisle and become more of a public icon rather than just a soccer icon, you have to do the very best that you can, not just for yourself, but for women across this world, to see other women successful, to stand inside their own selves as powerful, strong women. And my gosh, you guys don't even understand. Women from Europe, they look and they idolize players from the United States, like that we get all this benefit and we get all these lucrative deals. But the truth is they need to see it in action. They need to sit with Alex and talk to her so that they can learn, so that they can get better. They can grow the game in their country. Because ideally, of course we want to win World Cups and Olympics, but ideally we just want to leave the game better than we found it. And I know that that's one of Alex's goals in her career, and it's one of the things that she wants to leave as her legacy. And I wholeheartedly know in my heart, in my gut, that this is the best thing for Alex. And by virtue, it will be the best thing for the women's national team in hopes of bringing home another World Cup in 2019. So proud of her. There's a lot that goes into it. I can't imagine the stress that she's been under to finally get to this decision, but I'm proud of her for making it. And I know that she's going to do everything she can to make this a really positive choice that she's made for her development on the pitch and also off the field. It's always going to be. It'll be fun hearing the stories from her, what French life is like, and maybe she'll learn a word or two. But I do know that she's got big goals, big aspirations for the women's national team and for herself individually. And this is just nothing short of another thing that she'll be able to look back on and say that she checked every box to be the best player she possibly could be. So, Alex, my hat's off to you, sister. You keep pushing that game forward, because I know that some of the hardest decisions in my life that I've made have proven to be the most solid and the most beneficial. So I hope this is nothing short of that. Love you, sister. And I guess until next time, keep talking, keep loving, and happy holidays, everyone.